Okay, in this saucepan we have a steamer basket in here. Down here, of course, is our water. It's come to a boil, and in that we have about 2 cups of broccoli florets, just organic broccoli, and then I found some organic asparagus, and it's about a pound of that, but by the time I clipped all the ends off, who knows with how much I actually wound up with. But this is what it looks like in the steamer basket. So we're just going to steam that for about 10 minutes till it gets soft. Over here in this pot of salted water, we're going to be cooking our linguini. And this is how much linguini we have. This is about 10 ounces. I had a pound package, but I really don't want that much pasta. I want more vegetables. So that's what we're starting out with. Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. It's a rainy Thursday. It is not cold outside, but it's not really hot outside. But the sun's not shining, so I'm staying in for today. Go with me as we head to the kitchen to make some pretty pasta Primavera for dinner. This is almost vegetarian. It has some chicken broth in it, but there's no big chunks of meat in it. It's just vegetables. It's spring vegetables, and it's so pretty. That's the name. So go with us. Okay, we have our linguini cooked. We have our asparagus and broccoli steamed. So I just kind of have those at a standstill right now. We are heating our skillet up. I have it on about medium-high heat. And I'm going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil in there. You can use butter or a different kind of neutral oil if you'd like. Now, when I said earlier that this is almost vegetarian, but it has chicken broth in it, you're welcome to use vegetable broth. It's just that my recipe calls for chicken broth, and I make my own bone broth, and so that's what I'll use. So we'll wait till this heats up a bit, and we're going to saute some onion and garlic in there, and this is it's not a Vidalia onion, but it's a super sweet onion, so we have that sliced pretty thinly. So that's about 1 medium onion and about 1 clove of garlic minced, or about maybe a half a teaspoon. The longest process by far in this recipe is just chopping things ahead of time and getting them set out. And if you're making a video, remembering to turn everything on at an angle where everybody can see it. But if you're not making a video, it's probably not going to take you near as long as it takes me. Sliced onion goes in, and our garlic. We're just going to saute these until the onion turns clear. made this a few weeks ago when our Table Talk group came over. It's a women's mentoring group, and we met at our house. And I made this along with some other just random things that kind of sounded good at the time. But I didn't video it because I was making too many other things, and I had such a vast array of things going on. I was afraid I wouldn't do the recipe justice because I felt scattered, and so I figured it would look scattered, but really it's a pretty simple recipe. Like I said, as long as you have things chopped up ahead of time. Okay, at this point we're going to add 1 carrot that's been scrubbed and cut on a diagonal, so fresh carrot, not cooked, and then 1 big sweet red pepper. You can also add a large yellow pepper if you're using more pasta, but I didn't have a yellow pepper and I don't want to get out in the rain, so we're just using a red one. And I've sliced my carrot fairly thinly because the thicker it is, the more chance you run of it not being quite as tender as if you were to slice them thinly. Okay, we're going to saute those just enough to where they're starting to get tender, and I can tell they are because the carrots aren't quite as firm as what they were. So now we're going to also add a ½ pound of sliced fresh mushrooms. We're going to sprinkle ½ teaspoon of salt over these, which will help some of the vegetables sweat some liquid out just a bit. Maybe just a smidge more than ½ teaspoon. Also add 2 teaspoons of dried basil. This is just basil from my garden last year. For some reason, I'm the queen of growing basil. I don't know why. When everybody else's dies, mine just flourishes, so I'm not sure what that means, but I had plenty of basil last summer, so we dried it, made pesto, just did all kinds of things with basil. But I think I have, if I'm not mistaken, I think I have a ½ gallon jar in my pantry that is full of dried basil leaves, so we might just never run out. I need to start sharing it with people who say they're needing some. Get that all stirred in. And at this point, you're just cooking it mainly to get those carrots cooked, because everything else is pretty much softened. But if the carrots are not mushy, then that's perfect. You don't want them that cooked. If the mushrooms are cooked, the peppers are cooked, the onions are clear and tender and cooked, we will now add ½ cup of our chicken broth, or you can use vegetable broth if you'd like. And we're also going to add a cup of heavy cream. We're going to cook this for about 5 minutes, and it'll thicken up just slightly. I'm going to set a timer because my 5 minutes and what it is reality 5 minutes sometimes are completely different. Okay, at this point I'll take my pasta over and drain it. That might need oven mitts. also have about 3 green onions, just the green tops only, and chopped up. I'm going to put those in there too. I don't want to cook the green onions so long that they start to lose their color because they're so pretty. I'm going to turn that heat off and we're going to add our asparagus and broccoli. Let's see if I can get it out with this without making too big of a mess. See how pretty that is? It almost looks like a stir fry. It's so colorful. Okay, now ideally, the pasta would be poured on a serving dish. We would top it with this, and I have cheese over there to put on top of it. Just some grated Parmesan Reggiano, or you can use Romano, which I like Romano as much as I do the fancy Parmesan. But it's such a pretty presentation on a really pretty oval platter, particularly if it's a dark one. But for right now, it is about 20 minutes until 4, and we won't eat dinner until probably at least 5:30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in that pasta, and this is going to stay warm until we get ready to eat tonight. It's not going to be the prettiest of presentations, but it's still going to taste the same. And here's my cup of cheese that I just shredded. So we're going to take this, pour it in here. Get all the lagging wibbly bits out of whatever that means, but I like using that term, some wibbly bits. Get it all in there. Let me put my skillet over here. Now that is pretty. So pretty. All right, I'm going to take and pour our cheese on the top, along with some fresh ground black pepper. And it's not a dinner party, so I'm not worried about it looking like it matches everything else. But this way I'll have enough time to wash my dishes, get a salad made, get some garlic bread made, and I don't have to worry about stirring everything up at once. I'd rather show you an easier way to do it, a less stressful way to do it to get your dinner ready, than make it look pretty just for the sake of you thinking I do pretty dinners. Sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. So this is pretty pasta primavera. And I hope you give it a try. Maybe we'll take a picture of it on our plate tonight. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to sharing something again with you real soon. Thanks, guys. Recipes in the description. Bye.